My mindset was, I need to get 100 clients. Like, I need to make $100,000. How fast can I get there? In 6 months, I think I had like 10 clients. And I was so frustrated. And so I started shifting my mindset of, if I can help 100 people, that money will come. You need to be in the trenches. You don't need to hire a team. You really need to feel like, hey, I have these people's whole life in my hands. My definition of success would be to see others that I've helped also succeeding.
Hey, credit heroes. He's loud, raw, and a beast at content and credit. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Stephen Gomez. Over the last 5 years, he's coached more than 150 credit repair owners, all running on Credit Repair Cloud. And now he's developing new tools to help credit repair pros to grow their business. So please welcome to the podcast, Stephen Gomez. Hey, Stephen.
Hey,
welcome,
Daniel.
Stephen.
Thanks for the invite.
Glad to have you here. Where's my buddy Chapo?
He is tired. I was throwing the ball with him in the back, and it got stuck under the fence, and he was literally like creating a tunnel under the fence trying to get his ball. So he's kind of tired.
Okay. So he's napping while we work. I want to know everything. Let's start with, where did you grow up and where are you now?
So, crazy story. I actually grew up in a small town called New Braunfels, Texas, and I'm actually back here now. We moved here about a year ago. We bought a house here, and we're back to my hometown.
How cool is that?
Oh, I love it. It's definitely been, a blessing and a dream come true for me to be back, to where my roots are at.
Speaking of your roots, what was your life like before credit repair?
So I actually once after I left the military, I became a mechanic. I actually started in the automotive business. I worked as a mechanic, worked my way up from literally oil change to the shop foreman. And then I got onto the sales side and worked my way all the way up to general manager. And then I got fired.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I lost the position because of my temper. But you know what? It was a blessing in disguise. So after I left, I went back to those same businesses, and I was just like, the very first one, I told him what happened, and he was like, Stephen, I'll follow you anywhere. I didn't go to Sears. I went to go see Stephen Gomez. And it was just like, after that was a game changer.
Very cool. And then how long did you run your own shop? And then how did that lead into credit repair? What's the story there?
So I had it for 3 years. I had a business partner, and he ended up moving out of state, and I ended up tearing the tendon off my elbow.
Oh, geez.
So I'm in a cast, and I'm still working, and I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, I have a bachelor's degree, like I need to use it. So I ended up selling the shop. At this point, I'm divorced, so I got to set something up for her. I go get an apartment, and I get denied. And I'm just like, oh, what? And they're like, well, your credit. And I was like, I didn't know really anything about credit because when I owned the business, I always had cash. So I would just pay everything cash. I ended up having my sister get an apartment for me in her name, and I just paid for it. So I'm just like, I got 6 months to figure this out because I got to get my stuff straight to be able to get, an apartment at the end of the lease in my own name. I got on the YouTube, and I saw Credit Repair Cloud. And then finally I pulled the trigger for your software to fix my own credit, and I took off from there.
What were some key things you learned from that challenge? Like, what really resonated with you, and what do you remember, like, taking away? Taking
away was really just reading the report and how to read it. And I just remember, because I didn't never looked at a credit report, and you guys were real big on saying, hey, this is how you read it, but the team was just really big on, hey, this is what we're going to learn today. And then the next day, I liked the structure. Coming from the military, I liked the structure. It was like A, B, C, D. And they made sure you learned and gave you everything. They weren't gatekeepers. They were like, hey, this is what you need for today. Then this next block, this is what you need. And I like that structure.
And then how did you go from there to actually running a business and having paying clients? What was that leap like?
It was scary. So I started doing a lot of folks, credit, and I'm just like, hey, people are making a lot of money from this. And so, to be honest, my mindset was, I need to get 100 clients. Like, I need to make $100,000. Like, how fast can I get there? And I was like, well, I'm a networking, fool. Like, I know all kinds of people, and I have my military friends, and I have my mechanic friends, and man, I'm going to blow up. In 6 months, I think I had like 10 clients. And I was so frustrated. I was like, what do people need? It's not what I need. It's not me wanting to make 100 grand. It's, if I can help 100 people, that money will come. And so I started shifting my mindset of, okay, I need to talk to X amount of people this week. I wasn't trying to be like a real pushy person. And they just started coming. And one of the biggest things that came to me is when I was talking to folks, I said, hey, if you can't pay on the due date, just tell me. I don't want to be another bill collector chasing you. I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I owe Steven. Like, I don't want to answer the phone. Just let me know and we'll change the date. It's no big deal. I put myself in their shoes because I've been there and I remembered how that felt. And that was a game changer. Really just thinking of, how can I resonate with my audience? And I got really good at student loans, like getting those lates off. And I tell people that's really how I just cut my teeth in this industry, because people started to recognize me from that. I was like, hey, I can fix other people's credit and I can start an outsourcing company, because I saw some people doing that. And that just took off like wildfire because I was getting great results and I was keeping it simple.
So now is that the main part of your business, is doing the disputing for other companies?
Yes, that's definitely our bread and butter. It's always been a passion, but I've really gone into marketing and then coaching. I remember when I first started, and I would try to DM people, and they're like, "Oh, don't! Why are you DMing me?" Like, and they would just have this kind of like, why are you reaching out to me? And my wife and I were just talking about that a little while ago. I was like, when I make it, when I go and I can say, hey, I've made $1 million, I've helped so many people, I still want to have that same mindset of who I was back then. I never wanted to change that. I never want to be someone that's like, I'm too good. Like, no, ask me. Like, if you got a question, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll help you. I'll help you build your business and really bootstrapping it like I did, but kind of fast track you.
You're coaching a lot of people. What's one thing that beginners think they need to focus on, but it actually slows them down?
I've seen this a lot, is where people were like, well, I need to take all these classes and I need to automate everything. No, you don't. You really don't. You need to be in the trenches. You don't need to hire a team. You need to do it all by yourself and really feel the pressure. You really need to feel like, hey, I have these people's whole life in my hands and I need to know how to answer them. Anybody can outsource, and we love to do that, but they have to know the business, because if they don't know that, then I'm not doing a justice to them, and I always got frustrated when I would talk to folks and they're just like, well, what else do you offer? Well, bring it back. Let's focus on this. Back to the 14-day hero challenge. Let's bring it back. Let's go step by step. Everybody wants to run before they crawl.
Well, what are those first few steps you recommend people to take?
I tell folks to take the 5-day challenge and to really focus in the group. And I've been telling people lately, because I saw that you guys got the AI bot. Like, hey, use this stuff that's free. Do the free stuff now. I'm not crazy expensive, but I'm not crazy cheap. And I'm trying to focus on folks that are ready to level up. Like, can I help a brand new CRO? Absolutely. I'm trying to get these other folks like that next step. And so I tell everybody, hey, go to CRC, you know, do the free stuff first. Like, you don't have to spend money. Make some money that way first, and learn and ask questions and go to YouTube, because once you take that next step, like, you're going to have to be running, and you're going to have to really know how to dispute, how to deal with clients that are upset, you know, how to market, like how to just really stand up and say, hey, I can do this.
And for those people that have gone through the basics, they've gotten the fundamentals down of their business, gone through our challenge, got started to send out some dispute letters, started to get a hang of the business. What are some of the common mistakes you see them making as they're at that stage of their business that you help them overcome?
I would say trying to move too fast. Like, I had someone earlier I was talking to that were like, well, how soon should I hire, people to help? Like, well, you're just barely getting off the ground and now you're good. Get like 20 clients, but make sure that you could afford it. Whatever help you're getting, whatever classes you're paying for, make sure it's in your budget. I see a lot of folks that get a little bit of coin in their pocket and they want to just go splurge. You can't do that. And really just concentrate. Okay, now that I've taken like the master class and I'm good and I'm getting clients, just enjoy it. Enjoy that time of building, really soak it in, and then you take up to that next level, but just take your time getting there.
Are you helping any folks with their disputing?
Yes. So I say, learn the basics. And then now I'm showing them like, hey, what are like some advanced ways to really dig deep, like really going and highlighting stuff that points it out. That's what helped me, is print out the report and just start highlighting errors. And it becomes more real, because the more you find this stuff, the easier it is for you. Because like right now, I can look at credit report. I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, like I got 5 errors. And I'm trying to teach folks on that part to identify this stuff quick. So when you are looking at it, you're just like, okay, it's just repetitive. And it's just boom, boom, boom. That's when like, okay, I'm ready to take that next step, because I can look at any credit report, find the errors super fast if I need to. Software is great, don't get me wrong. But if something were to happen and it's down and you have this client that's waiting, you need to know how to do that. You need to know how to dispute without all the extra tools.
Sure. You got to know the nuts and bolts of your business. What
Yep.
are some of the most common errors you see on credit reports?
I would say lately, a lot of the payment history. Like, you'll see it's 30 days late on this one, and then 120 on this one, and then this one says no late payments. And you're just like, wait, what? And then another big one I've been seeing lately is bankruptcies. After it's been discharged, they're still showing a balance on those items. So you're just like, this client should have had a fresh start. How do they get in a fresh start when it's still showing a balance?
Absolutely. That's, if it's still showing a balance, that's a violation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So what do you do in that case?
So I have an attorney partner that we use. So we have 2 different ones. We have one that just does bankruptcies. So every bankruptcy I get, I send it to him to take a look at. And then all the other reports we have a law firm out of New York that looks at all of those. And it's nice because we pull the reports, we hand it to him, and we do so many with them. He actually gave me my own person that's just like, he just works for me because I send him so many reports. And we get a lot of violations that way, and that's nice too, to be able to tell the client, hey, not only am I here to help you, but we're backed by a law firm it's going to help you at no cost, like no extra cost. Obviously you're paying us for credit repair, but this is part of our service because we're doing everything 100% legit.
And does it happen very often that the client ends up getting a cash settlement for those violations?
Yeah, we actually had one last week. I think the attorney, we actually get paid too, which is nice because we referred them. So we got paid. The client got paid. They got it deleted, and then I had another one. There was an FTCPA violation. This creditor had kept calling them, and they recorded it and said, "Hey, stop calling. I refuse to pay." And then here they go texting. So we're just like, "Hey, just text them. I refuse to pay." And then they text him back anyways. It's those nice little things that you would never think of. I remember when I was getting, hounded by collectors, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, block.
What about that first situation you mentioned where the payment history is different on all three of the bureaus? What would you do in that situation?
On that one, we would just explain in the letter, say, hey, we're reporting this, the TransUnion is reporting this date, Experian showing this date, and then Equifax is showing this. Obviously, you guys have it wrong. This is a violation. It's hurting my credit. It needs to be deleted. Because on a credit report, everything should be reported the same. And they know that. But you just have to explain it to them in not a whole bunch of legal jargon, just plain English. Hey, this is what's wrong. This is why it's wrong. And this is why, or this is what I want. I remember speaking to an attorney early on in this, in the game, and she told me, if I have to go in front of a jury and I read that letter, I don't want to read, well, according to, FCRA, blah, 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 blah. It's, hey, this is the violation. This is why it's a violation. And this is what I want done. I want it deleted. And when they don't do it, then you send the letter certified. So now you have a copy of saying, hey, all these things, and they still don't do it. Then you send it to the law firm, and now it's done. There's no way they can ignore it because we have all our ducks in a row. And we said, hey, we were very just plain English. This is the error. This is why. This is what we wanted, and you ignored us.
You had great techniques for getting student loans off reports. So I'm curious to know what are the techniques that are working today? Because it's so relevant. There's student loans are starting to report again on credit reports as of very, very recently. So I know a lot of people are being hit by that.
Really, the biggest thing is getting that client to contact them right away. And then if they can, refinance it. So now that account's closed, and it's a lot easier for us to get off those late payments because the account's closed. And that was the biggest thing when I first started and how I got so good. So I got lucky. I had a client reach out. They worked for a student loan company, and they said, hey, we have all these clients that were trying to refinance their loans, but they have all these late pays. They would send me 100 clients a month. And that's how I really got good. Just all I was doing was student loans and writing out different letters and just deep diving into those. And it was a game changer. It's really just getting that account closed and then going back to just have the late pays removed.
What techniques do you see working today for once that account is closed for getting those late payments off?
The biggest one I've always seen from day one, it shows it's 120 days late. But after the account closed, they're still reporting it. So that actually happened to me. So we were trying to purchase a home 4 years ago. When they ran my credit, they're like, hey, you have 120 days late back in November. And I'm like, there's no way. Because in September, I had hit 100% disabled vet, and they waived all my student loans, so it should be zero. But they were reporting 120 days in November, even though it was paid off in September. So I was able to get that removed.
Are there any other common issues that you're seeing on credit reports that are the most challenging to get off? And what's your technique for getting them off?
Bankruptcies are definitely the most challenging. What I did last year is I went and I searched every bankruptcy court in the US and we sent letters to every single one of them. I actually have a database of all the letters that we've gotten back. So now when we go to dispute them, all I got to do is just go to my file and input it saying, hey, the court doesn't report. How did you get this? It took me a long while, but I knew back then if I want to do good at this, because I think maybe like 2 years ago, I think I had like 65 bankruptcies deleted in a year. I mean, I was killing
Wow.
it.
What are some of your other favorite ways to get quick wins?
So one thing that we do is we change up our whole dispute tactics every 90 days. The letters, reasons, instructions, everything. Because things that were winning for us 6 months ago aren't winning now. So we're always trying to stay one step ahead of the game. And with us, when we send our letters, we actually use a power of attorney. So we have the client sign a power of attorney. So now when we send the letter, we're using our company letterhead on our letters and we're saying, hey, we're a firm representing this client. This is all the issues. Respond to us. And here's a copy of the power of attorney. Here's a copy of their ID, everything. We haven't had stall letters in years. We've been doing that for probably 2.5 years now.
That's really
Incredible.
awesome.
And curious, like so you mentioned you're changing up your tactics every 90 days. Like what are the tactics that are working for you today?
We're just rewriting the way the format of the letters are. And then the reasons and instructions, we're just wording it different. Because if you think about it, these bureaus are seeing thousands of letters, every day. And they start seeing that same style and that same breakdown. They're going to be like frivolous, ignore. But when they start seeing something different, even just the format, they're just like, oh, okay, well, we'll take this one. And that's why we do it. It's nothing. We're not saying it any different. Like I always tell people, it's the letter of the law. There's no. It's black and white. There's no changing it. It's just how you word it and how you present it. Still saying, hey, you have these three, late pays different. It's just how you're presenting it different every 90 days. So that way you never get stuck into that little template.
Got it. Yeah, we actually built something into Credit Repair Cloud with AI that makes every letter unique.
I've seen that.
To kind of do the same thing and foil them.
I've used it.
I know you're really big into AI. How do you think AI is going to change the way people handle disputes?
It's going to be a game changer if you know how to use it. AI is only as smart as you tell it to be. And that's the thing. Like, so I build all kinds of different software, right, with AI. And someone will ask me, oh, do you use ChatGPT? Well, yeah, it's one of them. I have like 4 different ones that, softwares that I'm using, because one might be really great at this. And then this one's really great at something else. And when you put it together, I mean, you build a powerhouse. Like I just recently built a lead gen where I have this database of all types of services where I can literally say, hey, you want lenders in Austin, Texas, in this zip code. I can get you 20 lenders in like 30 seconds, all of their info, and then put it into a CSV. And then I send it to the client. They put it into an email. I give them a bot that I built that does the ad copy for them. So it's writing the content for them and then just shoots it out like clockwork.
That's amazing.
And with disputes, like how we're changing it every 90 days, I used to do it manually. Now I built me a little AI bot where I went to like the Cornell School of Law. I went and scraped that site and I got all that information and I put it in there. I went to the FTC's website, got all that information, the FCRA, FDCPA. I put all of that into this little bot. So now I'm not guessing. I'm asking this technical legal expert that I built, how do I do this?
Keenan's on AI all day long. He's in the office next door to me. And I kept thinking he was on phone calls all day. And then I peeked in there and he's actually talking to the computer all day long with all these different AIs. It's
Yep.
fascinating. What do you think are the most important things for a new credit repair business owner to focus on for marketing?
They need to have their foundation set. I mean, if you go and all you do is focus on marketing, but you don't know how to dispute or you don't know how to use a software properly, you don't know how to onboard them, like you're doing an injustice to your client. Because people ask me, well, what do I do when I don't have results? Just be honest. Just say, hey, I've been studying. I want to help 5 people. I don't have results yet, but I am because I've invested in training. I've invested my time into being the subject matter expert. Now I just got to show it.
Well, I'd love to know too, because you're working with people that are just either just getting started or looking to get their next few clients. Like, for someone that doesn't have a large budget to getting their business started, like, do you have any guerrilla marketing tactics or tactics you would tell people to do to get their next 10 clients?
Absolutely. And this helped me personally is I would just ask my friends on Facebook, hey, share my post. It doesn't cost you anything. Maybe you may not need credit repair, but one of your friends might. So I started having people share it, but then I would tell them, hey, share it to your story because then you can get hundreds of views. And I remember when I was first starting and I did that, people would call me and they'd be like, hey, Joe told me, you work on credit repair, you do credit repair. And I'm like, who the heck is Joe? But it's just people that saw you being genuine saying, hey, friend, could you do this? And then another thing that I would do is I would find people on Facebook that had big followings and I would just friend them and I would just shoot them a DM, say, hey, my name is Steven. I do credit repair. I see you have, a big audience. Would you mind sharing some of my posts? I'm just trying to build my audience. I'm just a regular guy. And if there's anything that I can help you with, I'd be more than happy to. And most people were just like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, just share. It doesn't cost me anything. You'd be amazed how much people will drive to you on social media when someone that's validating you, someone that has thousands of followers is saying, hey, this guy's legit. It makes a huge difference.
If someone's looking to find those people to reshare their content with, like, walk us through, like, step by step, how would you find all those people with small audiences to friend and get them to reshare?
It is so easy. So you go onto Facebook, you go to people, and here's a trick. You go to people you may know, and you look for folks that have mutual friends, at least 5 or more. Because then when you have 5 or more friends, they're just like, oh, we got mutual friends. I probably don't know who those mutual friends are, but that person is more than likely going to talk to me because of that. And that's honestly how I built, like, I have 8,000 followers on Facebook because I would do that. I would just go every day. I would tell myself, okay, I need to reach out to 20 people today. And I would just go on there. And then after I started doing it a lot, I would change it up to say, hey, how many friends, I need to have like 10 mutual friends or 20 mutual friends, and then I would start friending them because again, you're bootstrapping. It doesn't cost you anything but some time. And if you're just genuine, you just tell these folks, hey, this is who I am. I'm just trying to build my audience. Could you help me out? 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, sure. That's cool. That's different. It's thinking outside the box is what you need to do nowadays, because so many people are doing paid ads. So many people are going into like the first time homeowners groups and blasting out, hey, I do credit repair. Who's really just going to strangers and saying, hey, this is who I am. I'm just trying to build my audience. I'm not asking for anything, but could you just share my content?
I've never heard that one before. That's fantastic.
It's awesome. I'm with the content that you're having people reshare too. Like, what what do you typically see works the best? Like, what type of content are you even asking these people to reshare? Love to dig into that.
When I was first doing it, was results. Hey, I had this client win. You know, this client did this. This client's, purchasing a home. You have to think about what your audience is and what they're looking for. I'm not going to ask somebody to share my content of me being back in my pool, being like, hey, look at me. I do credit repair. Okay. Like, great. But hey, I help people. This is one of my clients. This person's real. These scores are real. To where you just have to figure out, for one, who your audience is, who you're trying to sell, and then that's what you promote. If I'm trying to get results, or for one, let's say you want to work with realtors, start making posts. Hey, I work with these realtors, or I work with these lenders. I helped this lender close 5 extra deals this month that they would have normally had because I helped them with their clients. I use a software that has an affiliate portal that they get their own link. They can see where the clients are at during the process, so it's all transparent. Those things like that you have to build trust. That's what you share, especially if you're looking out for those type of folks. You have to be able to relate to them, because if I'm showing results to a lender, they might be like, okay, but what if, hey, this is the lenders that I work with, this is a snapshot of what they see, and this is how many clients. Of course, you don't blur out the names or whatever, but just show, hey, this guy right here, I got 20 clients in his funnel to come back to him to close deals in the next 6 months. That's 20 deals that you may not have had.
And so when you've got that bot that can go out and grab, all the mortgage brokers in a town,
Right.
is that how you're approaching them as well?
Absolutely. So now that I have all these information, so I tell people, start local, start where you're at. Like here, I did it just last week, and I got to be able to go to a mortgage broker who had a training with probably like 20 of his folks. And I got to go up there and tell him, hey, this is what I do for credit repair. And he was just like, hey, not all my people are here, but come by later to the office when we have our meeting on Friday to be able to talk to everybody, like all the realtors. So now I did that. I'm now on their website. We're building it out to put our affiliate link to where we're going to be their in-house credit repair company.
That's awesome. And that started with a cold reach out?
Yeah, it was just, hey, this is who I am. This is what I offer. Here's my calendar if you're interested. Super simple, not salesy. Just you have to reach their pain points. So once you get them, say, hey, how many clients do you see that are credit challenged? And that's the thing too. Not, hey, how many clients need credit repair, or how many clients have bad credit? How many clients do you have challenges with credit? How many clients are you turning away? Let's say you turned away 5 this month. Okay. If you're able to close one of those deals, how much money would that have made it? For simple math, say $1,000. Okay. This isn't going to cost you anything. Like, I'm going to do the work for you. You just send them through your portal. I take care of them. I send them back to you. That can be an easily $5,000 back to you. You didn't pay for anything. I didn't ask you to go, promote me everywhere. Just, hey, when they're coming in, you're talking to them. Because think about it, lenders are looking at credit reports every single day. And then from there, you tell them, hey, when you look at the report, just tell me what needs to be done. I don't want to shotgun blast this and do everything. What needs to be removed? That way I can focus on that, get your client taken care of, get them, in their home, and then we'll take care of the rest. Then you start giving them that game plan so then now they're working for you saying, hey, on this report, yeah, they might have 5 things, but I can write letters for the underwriter for these 2. I just need these three things deleted. And then you just go after those.
That's awesome. Awesome and simple.
Yep.
Hey, if you could start all over again in credit repair, what would you have changed and why?
I would have hired a mentor a lot sooner, just because it took me so long to figure it out, how to move forward, how to build. By hiring someone that just gives you the game and says, hey, I already went through all that. I'm going to fast track you, obviously, the legit way, and it's going to cost a little bit, but the return on your investment that you're going to get is going to be a game changer. So if I had to restart all over from scratch, first I would have built up enough money to afford it and say, okay, I've learned as much as I could. I've made a little bit of money. Now I'm going to go look for coaches that can give me a return on my investment. I don't want just any coach. I don't want the most expensive. I don't want the least expensive. I want the best. I want one that's going to be able to say, hey, I'm your guy. I'm going to help you. And this is what we're going to do. Like, that gives me a straight game plan to just keep moving forward without me having to make all those mistakes again and having to, learn the hard way. Because I did have a lot of hard times.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's starting their own credit repair business?
Look in the mirror. You're competing against yourself. Don't look at what everybody else is doing, because they've probably been doing it a lot longer, and you're going to get frustrated. And then for me, when I first started, I put a whiteboard on the door, or next to the door, that I wrote a goal every day. It can just be, hey, I need to send out 5 emails, or I need to talk to 5 people. I need to reach out on Facebook to talk to 5 people today to share my stuff. Compete against yourself, but set goals. And that way it's gonna change your mindset. Because if I'm trying to compete against you guys, like, you've been in this a long time, I'm gonna get frustrated because I'm not gonna win. But if you're competing against yourself, that's the best way.
I love that. What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job, and what keeps you passionate about it?
When these credit repair, for now, because I do so much coaching, when they write me a text and they share their win, hey, I did this, I helped my client. That's the biggest thing, man. Just to see them winning, to see how passionate they are because they help change somebody's life. They're not like, hey, I made $1,000 today. No, it's, I got this many deletions, or this client got a house. Like, that's what I love. That's my passion, is to help people and to see their wins and to see them celebrating. It's a game changer.
Me too, same thing. That's amazing. Okay, I want to switch gears now, and I'm going to ask you a few rapid questions. Answer with the very first thing that pops into your head, okay?
All right.
What's your business superpower?
I would say just being real and raw.
What's your business kryptonite?
Trying to help too many people at once.
What does business ownership mean to you?
Building a legacy.
What drives and motivates you?
My family.
What's your definition of success?
My definition of success would be to see others that I've helped also succeeding.
If you could go back in time and tell yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't be so arrogant. Like, don't say that, oh, I'm going to go help 100 people. Like, I know it by December, I'm going to have 100 clients. I'm going to be doing all this. Humble. Be humble would be my biggest thing, because that was my biggest kryptonite back then, because I thought that I could run the world and I couldn't.
Do you have any other advice for someone just starting out with a credit repair business?
Absolutely. Take it slow. Be true to yourself. Be true to your clients. And there's no shortcuts in credit repair. You're going to see it. We tell folks all the time, your credit didn't go bad overnight. But flip the script, you're not going to fix it overnight. There's no hacks, there's no sweeps, there's no legitimate way to fix credit in 7 days. Once you figure out, hey, this is a process and you still want to be here, then this business is going to be booming for you. But if you're coming in just looking at dollar signs and you want to be that lifestyle marketer, take it down the street, because this isn't it for you.
I love that. What's next for you? What's the next big goal?
Man, really, I think just getting more people. I've in the last 2 years, I've coached over 150 CROs. I would say I want to double that. I want to double it, not because of the money. I want to be able to grow even my knowledge, because I learn from these folks. Sometimes they teach me stuff. I want to be able to be that person that just has helped so many people, that the credit repair owner that's just starting can reach out to me and say, hey, Steven, I got a question. Yep. I want to be that person. I want to be that person that's known, that's helped so many people, but it's still just, hey, I put my pants on the same way you do every day. Like, I'm approachable, and I'll never change that.
And how can people reach out to you?
Honestly, the best way is just find me on Facebook, shoot me a DM. I believe I sent you guys a link earlier to my page for my coaching and marketing. With that, it's when you click get started, it's actually a calendar link to chat with me. I'm not trying to sell you right away. I don't want anybody to pay for this something that I'm offering if it's not a right fit for them. I have my email on there. I probably have my phone number on there somewhere too. Like, I'm easygoing. You can get a hold of me so many different ways, but definitely use that link too. And I'll put you on my calendar and we'll chat.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Steven. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Steven.
I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I've just been like cheesing all day. Like, I made it, like I'm on the podcast.
This is going to be a great one too. And for everyone out there watching and listening, if you're finding value in the things we share on this podcast, click below to subscribe and follow. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers. And if you want even more ways to turn content into clients, here are my top tips. And if you'd like to start your very own credit repair business or learn how to earn extra income repairing credit for others, check out my brand new Start Repairing Credit Challenge. So sign up right now at startrepairingcredit.com and keep changing lives.